Welcome to our Embodied Self-Leadership community. Those of you who use journal prompts and mindset practices to grow. And so with that, emotional activation without identity distortion. You want to know this is the first episode of 5 for the playlist, and these are outcomes that come thanks to your journal prompts and mindset practices, whether from the pay hip bundles that are out there from me to you or your own. Okay, emotional activation is our nervous system when it gets into sympathetic energy, dorsal energy, ventral energy. However, because you're an embodied self-leader, this will mean that you are moved into not the struggling with it, but with the awareness of it. And so you work with your identity, yourself, your belonging, and you stay whole. So integration and wholeness means you're working with personality patterns and temperament in the moment of being activated. I remain myself, I'm activated. Why do mindset practices or journaling help? Mindset practices allow you to choose how to explore something and process the charge. Journaling also with the questions that are self-reflective. Okay, so number one, when you're aware, it means of the nervous system. So you're emotionally activated consistently because we all have affective realism. We can be broken free from it, which I am. And if you haven't heard any of the other episodes and you don't know anything about me, you're just here because you know the playlist is what accompanies the journal prompts and mindset practices that you're going to be using as you move into, okay, I am charged. What do I want to do with it? People who validate their sympathetic energy end up not using mindset practices or journaling to get out of those validation loops. Okay, so steadiness is what you are choosing, which means you like the ventral energy and curiosity. And so if I'm in an interaction with another individual, or I'm dealing with the world events, or I'm dealing with something I'm worried about, I have had plenty of practice with panic attacks. Actually, I would say those are the most struggling, because fear is just that, fearful, but your window tolerance expands to it. When it comes to human beings, that's where it gets fun, when you have a steady self, because you're not going to be bringing to the other your own charge. You're going to self-regulate, and you're doing this because you are choosing to be yourself with integrity. And so your goal of having emotional activation without identity distortion is set because you're aware not only of your embodied brain, you easily will choose the next step, the ventral energy, the restorative embodiment, that which instead, when you find what I call our 3D, 4D brothers and sisters, the emotionally immature ones, they will say, but they're not doing it. I want them to do it. You're not focused on them. You're unconsciously loving yourself with flaws and imperfections as you're activated. You're aware of the embodied brain that you own. With integration, you work with that window of tolerance, and that's because it's in your own best interest, but also because you're not going to co-regulate to a dysregulated nervous system, if you will. And or, let's put it this way, if I'm in a defense position, because our emotions are not contagious, it's our nervous systems that are communicating to each other. If you're an embodied self-leader, you're your own inner authority. So differentiating is the number one thing you're going to want to do. Why else would you not do it? And so when I see people thinking they're badass, but I can tell that they're not badass because they're in a sympathetic energy, I will know that they're not using the mindset practices effectively because they haven't chosen to take self-regulation skills and to bring forth their ventral energy with the responsibility of what it takes to get yourself to the good resilience for your body, number one. So you love yourself first, not because you're selfish in a way of being someone who disregards another person's feelings. No, I will differentiate, self-regulate, and in that moment I will know that I had been activated, but I don't distort my identity because I don't take something personally. That's what functional child adults is what I call it. And so what is emotional activation? It's my nervous system when it gets activated, whether it's within the conversation with another person or an event that's taking place, but it's not a physical threat. Without identity distortion, I stay myself. My identity doesn't get budged. Doesn't matter what words are coming out of the mouth of someone or whatever's going on. There's no distortion because I'm aware of the charge, the effective realism. But above all, I will immediately be aware of being able to be bringing in, okay, ventral, come on. You don't have to hug yourself necessarily. Again, the panic attacks for me were the more uncomfortable. But if I'm in a situation with other, now, here's the deal. My goal is to be myself under pressure and to treat someone with the same manners that I want to be treated. And that means that I'm going to connect and stay open-hearted because that's the whole point. You will want to be in the presence of another who is emotionally intelligent. That's what it is to do good resilience. And so when you're using mindset practices effectively, you're not going to validate your strength and courage in a way of continuing with modulated embodiment. You're going to notice, I have a charge. I'm going to harness my ventral energy, bring me to that blissed state because it's a blissed out state. I'm not going to play the pity card or petty card of they're not doing it, I want them to do it, because that's where an adaptive child part can go to a Terry Real. He's an awesome therapist. Not do mindset practices or journal prompts by yourself, thinking that you have achieved emotional intelligence. And so if you will want to achieve a high emotional intelligence for yourself, it's because you understand how empowering it is to be your own inner authority, your own inner sovereign, and then to bring to the picture of 1, 2, 10, however many it may be, the ventral energy that their body's made for too. And so when I see those in modulated, I know what our 3D, 4D brothers and sisters are up to, validating their sympathetic energy. And then they don't move into stability or steadiness. And they're not really going to make use of those questions, the journaling, the capacity to, in a moment of time, recalibrate to become the best version of themselves, but also to bring into the room that which is everyone's capacity. So when you model epistemic curiosity, discipline, and intelligence, and you model that which is a nervous system that stays grounded and connected and present in my prefrontal. I work with my temperament, my personality patterns, and whatever is left. You have just given somebody the opportunity to not be treated in a way that is unsafe, and therefore that would make them feel that they continuously have to stay in defense mode. And by having that pause, that moment to hear themselves and another, they will be able to self-reflect as well. And so we get to enlighten together. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you for purchasing journal prompts and mindset practices from the PayHip store. If you do want to join the space where we get to continue thinking in addition to the practicing, check out Substack, subscribe to YouTube, let any of your embodied self-leader friends know being yourself under pressure is fun. And just so you can know what else is going to come for our series, our playlist, Nervous System Steadiness During Uncertainty, that's going to be our second episode. Relational Integrity Under Pressure, we love our relationships. Capacity to feel deeply without collapsing or performing, this one's really fun. And Playful Mastery of Intensity, now that is a sweet, na 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 flow state. This is where blissed out, like seriously, when somebody's like, it's boring, it's like, wow, sorry, that's not how it feels on this end. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would. Thank you for stopping by.